Welcome back to the Mookie Chilson channel, and you are looking live at two cards that are not mine. They are the cards of a character I have introduced you to before here at Mookie Chilson World Headquarters, and they are the cards of the guy who left all his cards here over the summer so he could gallivant around the country and do whatever he pleases while your boy Mookie incurs all of the insurance responsibility.
And washed and bathed them.
And washed and bathed them and made sure they were all in bed by 9 p.m. They are Pete's cards. Say hello, Pete.
Hello.
Give us a thumbs up on camera. So that's Pete over there. He's on the right. And this is your boy Mookie on the left.
Okay? I've known this guy since we were 13 years old.
13 years old. And since the origin story of Pete when he made the awful deal to get rid of his Nolan Ryan rookie for a banged up Reggie Jackson rookie. Is that right?
Yes. I mean, the story quickly is basically I had two Nolan Ryan rookies. I'd sold one. I kept the nicer one. I was obsessed with Reggie Jackson when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Collected all his cards. I needed his rookie. I traded the nicer of the Nolan Ryan rookies before he hit the Hall of Fame. I was stupid. I just wasn't thinking ahead. This dealer knew he was about to hit the Hall of Fame. He got this creased off-center Reggie Jackson rookie, which at the time I was thrilled with. Then I realized I had totally gotten schooled on the deal.
You got fleeced. You got fleeced.
Yep.
And that is the origin story. And so ever since in the pandemic era, Pete has come back with a vengeance to collect very well-centered, high-end, graded vintage cards, two of which you see in front of you. And so let's talk about this first one. This is Roberto Clemente. That catcher, by the way, is Jerry Grody of the New York Mets. This is Roberto's last playing days card, issued after he died, which you didn't know.
Yep.
And so,
taught me.
Yeah.
Do you know what field I was taken in?
It's a spring training game. I don't know.
I'm disappointed. Usually good with those stats.
Okay.
Anyway, this card was one of the last I needed for my Clemente run. And I had searched the show for a really nice centered copy. I didn't really set out to get a 7, but just happened to be the nicest 73 I saw.
Yeah.
And so, really happy with it. Not the most exciting card in the world, but
I was going to say,
very nice.
These are, they're around. They're not around in this kind of great centering. I have two of them. One from my pal Theo, Clemente Collector, which is a one-of-one exclusive card, and then another one that has a pinhole in it, which is on the wall of fame behind us here. So let's talk about this card.
Ooh. So nice.
So this is the 52 Bowman Mickey Mantle card. So talk about this one.
I paid to get into the East Coast National early on Friday. I took a half day of work, and I, paid extra for the advance ticket. Got there on Friday. Was just walking around towards the end of, I was about to leave actually, and this card caught my eye, and I just thought it was, really well priced for a 52 Bowman, PSA 6, and I just, something in me just told me I had to have it.
Yeah. Wow.
Beautiful card.
It's an insane card, and I know the 52 Topps gets all the love, but this one is really super sick and nicely centered, and in a 6, that's great. Now, we're going to go to the last final card, and this is by no means, we saved the best for last, let's put it that way. And I'm going to show this on the screen. We're going to tell you the story of how Pete came to acquire it. It's a 2-day saga. And it started on Friday. First of all, look at this. 52 Topps, Willie Mays in a 4, SGC 4. The centering is just beyond compare. I don't think you could find, there probably aren't 8s or 9s that are this well centered. And
it was hard to find.
Yeah.
It really was. It's one of the last cards I needed for my Mays run. Obviously, one of the really big ones. I got in there on Friday. I made an offer. The guy just completely shot me down.
so Friday, you are there at the show. You paid in early to go.
I went without Mookie on Friday.
I was working because some of us have to freaking keep the lights on around here. And I'm getting texts all day long on Friday about this card, the picture and the card. And you're texting me complaining about the dealer who refused to deal with you because you were trying to lowball his ass. So
Not that much.
Well,
I made an offer that, it was on the low end, but I didn't think it was crazy. But he laughed. He basically laughed at me.
Yeah.
And then
spit in your face. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Didn't you at one point hand your phone to him with a comp and said, like,
yes,
look at this comp. This is your price is above this comp for a what? For
it was an
5.
SGC 5 that was, well centered, not as well centered, but it was a great hire. And the price it had sold for, I made an offer, pretty close to that. Again, just the guy just was not willing to negotiate that much. He just basically said no.
Well,
he said, who cares? When I showed him that SGC 5, he's like, so.
So you got all grumbly and upset about it and were texting me. And I remember seeing on the East Coast National video of Silver Jackify, who I'm sure many of the people who watch this channel watched his video on the East Coast National. And at one point, of all the cards in that huge, huge, huge show, Silver Jackify spins his camera around to this card and zooms in on it and says, I'm going to start saving up for that beauty. And I sent that to you.
Yeah.
I sent you that video. Yep. And
I thought he might buy it.
Yeah. And I thought he might too. And so we went back on Saturday and we were not sure if the card was going to be there still.
Yeah. No, I kind of accepted that it might sell before I got there.
But when we got there, it was there.
Yep.
And so what happened?
So, we did a couple laps around the show. I made absolutely sure that I looked at every 52 tops maze that I could. And I was, very confident that this was the best centered card at the East Coast National. So I just told myself I was going to buy it one way or another. And so
we went over to the guy and I said, let me handle this, right?
Yeah, you kind of took over for me. And
I said, look who's back. And the guy, of course, remembered you as the low baller in chief here. And I was like...
But he was like in a better mood. Like he was laughing.
Well, because I worked him. I was softened him up. I said, he's not going to, I heard he lowballed you yesterday. He's here to make another run at this. And he started to smile and laugh. And we talked to him and he talked about how he had just picked this card up at the National, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure he was into it for a fair amount of money. And that's why he wasn't willing to budge that far off his price, right?
Yep. I mean, he wasn't willing to go very far at all off his price. I think he knocked, I'm not going to say, but he knocked a very small amount off.
Yeah.
The day before.
Less than 10%.
Or earlier, the first time. But then, after Mookie kind of warmed him up, he seemed more willing to bend. Yeah. And so he met me at a number I was a little more comfortable with.
Yeah.
And so I bought it at crazy. I've never bought a card of this sort of magnitude in person.
I've never seen that much cash transact between two human beings live in person in a basketball gymnasium. And so it was crazy, but I know you think it's worth it.
There aren't many of these around. That's the thing. I just had to tell myself, like, you searched a whole convention and you didn't see any other cards that compared to this. So, I mean, it's got to be pretty rare to find these this well centered. So I just kind of went for it.
Well, apologies to Silver Jackify. Your boy Pete here picked it up, and the Vengeance Tour continues. Pete's Vengeance Tour against the dealer who wronged him at age 13 continues with the 1952 Topps Willie Mays, which is just a stunner. So congratulations, Pete.
Thank you.
I'm happy to babysit it anytime. And
I'm sure you will eventually.
I know all of the Mookie Chilson channel viewers appreciate you coming in. You want to give a thumbs up to say goodbye? All right.
There, guys.
Very cool. All right. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thanks.